You're watching Camnet News. Thank you so much for choosing us. My name is Sharon Kalimbola. The top stories on our desk this evening: fuel prices to continue escalating due to global tension. Government challenge to maintain roads prone to accidents. Government to evacuate all registered Zambians from Ukraine by Friday, 4th March 2022. In international news, unprecedented attacks HOUND Eritrean refugees in Ethiopia. And in sports news, CHIPOLOPOLO challenged to pull their socks.
We still need more players, yes, because we need to balance the team. We need to have maybe on one position 3 or 4 players.
The third Camnet Stars football trial is on. This time, Camnet Stars are looking for young, talented and skilled soccer players between the age of 18 and 20 years old. Start your lucrative football career in Europe this July. If you know you are one of Zambia's best gifted soccer players, don't waste your time. On Sunday, the 12th March 2022, there will be trials for professional soccer stars. Venue: Kablonga Boys Secondary School grounds. Time: registration 13 hours. Kick-off 14 hours. 100 kwacha non-refundable shall be paid, and your birth records must be produced upon registration. Camnet Stars, setting football standards for international market.
Once again, thank you for choosing us. The news in detail. The coroner's court has entered a closed verdict in an inquest touching the death of Monica Mulenga, who died in the house of a Catholic priest, Father Abel Mwelwa. Delivering the verdict Monday, Coroner Judith Chiaika found the deceased Mulenga, aged 42, died of natural causes, hence entering a closed verdict. The deceased, who was a member of the Catholic Women's League, died in April 2020 while visiting Father Abel Mwelwa at priest's residence at Kaunda Square Catholic Parish at 19 hours. Details in this report.
The mystery of the death of 42-year-old Monica Mulenga, who died in April 2020 from the parish priest's residence at Kaunda Square Catholic Church while visiting Father Abel Mwelwa, became clear this morning. Delivering her verdict Monday morning in the inquest, Coroner Judith Chiaika entered a closed verdict on account that the evidence of the witnesses and a state pathologist found that the deceased died of natural causes. Meanwhile, Father Mwelwa, who was at the center of this controversy, refused to give a comment over the outcome of the inquest.
Okay, please, can you just give us, no comments, please. No comments, please. I mean, that is yes. No comment, please. No. We thank you, the media.
You felt after.
We thank you. We thank you for your presence. No comments, please. We appreciate you. We appreciate you so much.
During the inquest hearing, a state pathologist testified that the deceased might have died of sudden cardiac arrest, and further that after conducting a post-mortem it was revealed that she suffered from high blood pressure and uterus fibroids, while the witness in Jupati, Father Mwelwa, had testified that on the 8th of April 2020, the deceased complained of not feeling too well after she took some tea. He also testified that he called his assistant, informing him that their guest was not okay, hence needed to be taken to the hospital. But upon reaching, she was pronounced dead. He had also told the coroner that the doctors informed him that they couldn't pump oxygen as she had fluids in her lungs. Miriam Kaimba reporting for Camnet TV News.
Given Luwinda Foundation has dragged United Party for National Development Ward 5 Area Councillor Mahinda Simata to the Lusaka High Court, seeking an order that the civic leader be restrained, whether by his servant or gents, from interfering with the foundation peaceful and quiet enjoyment of owning a play park in Lusaka's Kamala South area. According to the statement of claim filed in court, the foundation states that it made a lease agreement with the Lusaka City Council by way of covenant, of which it was agreed that it shall peacefully hold the said lease period without interpretation by the council or any person. The foundation submits that Mr. Simata has been appearing on several media platforms, including Camnet TV, where he was accusing that the former lawmaker for Kawata constituency illegally occupied the said play park. Miriam Kaimba once again brought us this report.
The controversy surrounding Kawata Skills Development Center in Lusaka's Kamola area has now gone to court, with a company called Given Luwinda Foundation Limited suing United Party for National Development Kamola Ward 5 Councillor Minda Smata in the Lusaka's High Court. Last week, Mr. Smata, who has been cited as the defendant, reported former Kawata Patriotic Front Member of Parliament Given Luwinda and another to the Anti-Corruption Commission for allegedly being in possession of a community play park in Kamwala, which is reasonably suspected to be proceeds of corruption.
What that property was for, it is for the community. So we want SEC to expedite this issue before we engage other gears that are going to have to force us to mobilize our people so that we can just now forcibly take over that property, because we are not going to wait for investigations which will take too long, because we need to use that facility now, and we have to take over that facility now on behalf of the community, because it belongs to the community.
Now the foundation is seeking an order from the court restraining Mr. Smata or is urgent from interfering with its peaceful and quiet enjoyment of the said Kawata Skills Development Center, which is stands number 14726/917. Further, an interim injunction. According to a statement of claim filed before court, the foundation states that it has a subsisting lease agreement from the Lusaka City Council of the said stand up to 31st August 2030, and the said period is subject to the extension on account of development made of the said stand. Further, that its occupation of the said stand was confirmed by a consent judgment dated 23rd August 2018 in the matter of Mula Mwanza versus Lusaka City Council and Given Luwinda Foundation. The foundation states that in its lease agreement, it was agreed that it shall peacefully hold and enjoy the demised premises during the said lease period without interruption by the council or any person claiming through, under, or in a trust for the council. However, it laments that the defendant, Mr. Smata, has appeared on several media platforms, including his Facebook page, where he has alleged that the foundation illegally occupied the stand in question. The foundation has also informed the Lusaka High Court that Mr. Smata has accused some of its directors of attempting to dispose of the said stand, and that all this is intended to paint it and the directors black, with the ultimate goal of coercing the foundation to vacate the subject land, acts contrary to clause of the lease agreement and the stated consent judgment that was previously entered. Hence, it's now demanding damages from Mr. Smata for inconvenience, among other reliefs. Miriam Kaimba, reporting for Camnet TV News.
Former Mbala Member of Parliament under the Movement for Multi-Party Democracy, Gaston Sichilema, says there is need for the head of state to declare some major roads a national disaster and make a directive to have the roads maintained. In an interview, the former lawmaker says it is unacceptable for the country to be recording accidents nearly on a weekly basis and nothing is being done. Zambia has of late been recording a number of road accidents since the beginning of 2022, with the latest being on Saturday, 26th of February 2022 in Mpika district, where 7 people died while 29 others sustained serious injuries.
The first quarter of the year 2022 has seen a series of road traffic accidents, despite relevant authorities striving to reduce the number of incidents from those that were recorded in the year 2021. A total of 32,372 road traffic accidents were recorded in 2021, which indicated a rise from the 28,484 recorded in 2020. The year so far has not shown a positive trend due to the number of accidents that the country has been recording nearly on a weekly basis. The recent accident recorded in Mpika district on Saturday, 26th February 2022, has irked concerned stakeholders who have called for an inspection of major roads. The said accident saw 7 people dying, while 29 others sustained injuries after a bus they were traveling in plunged into a stream in Mpika district. Former Member of Parliament Mr. Gaston Sichilema says there is need for immediate maintenance works on major roads.
To appeal to the President Hakainde Hichilema, to declare a disaster on 4 major roads. 1, Kazungula Sesheke Road, Mongu Kaoma, Serenje Nakonde Road, Pika Mbara Road. Every other week we are registering fat accidents on these roads, particularly Great North Road. When it was done, it was called Great North Road. Before it was a hell run. I don't know what we can call it. This is something, and why I'm calling him, appealing to him that he should declare it a disaster, meaning that we need to do it like yesterday. We have men in uniform, the army, ZNS, mobilize them, they have expertise and they are able to do it. To go and patch up these roads before you can go for any contractor.
The former MP says it is not acceptable for people to continue dying nearly on a weekly basis, as is the trend now.
My concern is the loss of lives. I've arrived this morning. The accident happened 22 hours on Saturday. 4 bodies were retrieved. 15 hours yesterday. 3 other bodies were retrieved. I want to take this advantage to commend the combined team of Mpika district. When I say combined team, led by the police, the RATS, they were all there. And I'm going to write it to the IG. Those police officers, they need to be rewarded. The job they did there is a job that you expect from a police officer.
Zambia hopes to achieve a 50% reduction of accidents by the year 2030, a move which stakeholders say can only be achieved through deliberate efforts to end the same. Zipporah Mshala, Camnet News, Lusaka.
Chieftainess Kawaza, Sinda and Katete district in Eastern Province has urged her subjects to embrace the free education policy introduced by government in order to break free from the cycle of poverty. The chieftainess has advised people from rural areas to take advantage of this policy and attain education and help in bringing development to their areas. She said this when Special Advisor to the President for Political Affairs, Levi Ngoma, paid a courtesy call on her.
Na president ba dziko la Zambia. So mwana president ba dziko la Zambia chituko chiende muno mdziko isetiba sungira vantu kuno kumudzi. Tifunika tiendere pamodzi. Ndingana kuti Zambia zofunikira. So tivalandira ndi manja aviri. Tira pamodzi ndipo tiyamikire chifukwa cha free education. Yomwe ise vaikako kuti azindike kuti aliyese mwana afunika kuphunza. So icho tiri kugwira semafungomba niyobwezera bajabana kuti kusukulu machanaleka tiyamikire bakushwa amuganizira muntu wakumudzi kuti muntu wakumudzi taphunzireso akakhale pabwino afunika maphunziro. So icho pokale ona kuti tabwerera kwa mtsamunda kwa akaunda kwa free education kuti aliyese akaphunzireko sensi wochiyamikira chifukwa makolo mazisunga tudalama azirasipereka kutsogolo kuti munanga akatsira sukulu popita ku university tundama utunkapereke chifukwa mwampa nawo tivuta ntambaleka kusukulu kuti ndinganitenge kuti ndalama. So utenga wakuti ziko mpotuma political advisor ona Levi Ngoma kwa bolo kati endera isikuno noona kuti tiendere pamodzi na seso tashiyamikira popeza tinaenda nkhaba kuti ndomba tienda bwanje pako kuti amasuka kuti makolo yanga tiendere pamodzi ndisoshandira kwa ise chikidomo yakavaza pamodzi ni vantu angosaka.
Chief Mwene Chifungwe of the Tumbuka people of Mochinga province has pleaded with government to drill boreholes in the chiefdom to address the water and sanitation challenges. The traditional leader says water is a challenge in the area, especially during the dry season, and that some people move long distances to access the commodity. He was speaking when Mafinga Member of Parliament Robert Chavinga and Provincial Permanent Secretary Henry Makungule paid a courtesy call on him.
On s'est fait tout fait comme tel qu'au Guinée ou à UPND, on s'est fait, il va en avoir twarabomba nabo kwa mapene FM kwaye so na mwetu mtaka ngorojeti akumsara kutumwe ba PS amuchinga province basi chawamnako chakutira ama chusha yengi yanto akwata kuno Maria Shiva noko yasha Maria Shire notati yawachanta ngumone mfatna loba sana there are some areas kwatu istado suwa amechi takuva there's 2 walk distances hapa tarifiri nango 1 kilometer so that means istado suwa nga wayamulia kutoa mfano rusi ati moko mfunya mechi huko preto noko mwamechi nango akachiwa dipendo kwa mechi sambi ataona kwa chife na mufra kwa rusi mechi kutumfunya kutari so otherwise il faut que buchike povuli plus chawama sana namna dakari muno emo ngari.
The prices of fuel are expected to be on an upward trajectory despite the newly increased prices effected by the Energy Regulation Board in line with the monthly reviews of the commodity. This is on account of global events including the war between Russia and Ukraine, which is expected to affect the supply of the commodity. Energy Regulation Board has increased the pump price of petroleum products by 2 kwacha 12 ngwe per litre for petrol and 12 kwacha 61 ngwe per litre for diesel, while the price of kerosene has remained unchanged. According to ERB, the upward adjustment in the prices is inevitable to ensure the sustained supply of fuel to the Zambian market in the short term.
Fuel is an important catalyst to the economy as it aids productivity. While prices of the commodities for the month of February were reduced by an amount below 2 kwacha, commodity prices on the market remained static, including bus fares. Now, the prices have increased again by about over 2 kwacha. It simply means have to brace themselves for tougher times ahead, and not even these lamentations will change the situation.
We are expecting now all the product to be increased, of which it is going to affect the lives of people.
Ero futi mufunika matandizirako bantu amene bovutika unga bapimisa bantu 5 kwacha amene baoda manje bantu muzabatandiza bwanji nakambati new government ikabwerapo vintu vizachita bwanji vizabwerera manje futi vintu vichita bwanji venda pamwamba mali tizakala bwanji muziko.
The latest from the Energy Regulation Board ERP is that the pump price for petroleum products has increased by 2 kwacha 12 ngwe per litre for petrol and 2 kwacha 61 ngwe per litre for diesel, while the price of kerosene has remained unchanged. According to the ERB, the upward adjustment in prices is inevitable to ensure sustained supply of fuel to the Zambian market in a short to medium term. Notably, the prices of fuel are anticipated to continue increasing, and this is also on account that, including the war between Ukraine and Russia, which is expected to affect supply of the commodities. Patrick Soko, Camnet News in Lusaka.
Government has managed to safely evacuate 57 students to Poland, while 1 student is safely in Hungary with hopes of evacuating all by Friday this week. Updating the nation on the situation in Ukraine, Foreign Affairs Minister Stanley Kakubo notes that out of the 141 known Zambians based in Ukraine, 27, mostly former students, have opted to remain in that country, having been integrated in the Ukrainian society. Mr. Kakubo says the situation in Ukraine is still unpredictable and complex, but that government remains committed to ensuring the safety of Zambian nationals. Meanwhile, the Foreign Affairs Minister notes that a lot of challenges have been faced, including Zambian nationals opting to ignore government effort, among other reasons.
I'd like to inform the nation that as of the last few hours, 57 students have safely crossed the border into Poland, and 1 student is safely in Hungary, having been directed by his parents to travel to Hungary. At the border on the Polish side, our staff from the Zambian embassy in Berlin, in Germany, and the Honorary Council to Poland have secured buses to shuttle our nationals as and when they arrive into Poland. Out of the 141 non-Zambians in Ukraine, there are indications that 27 of our nationals, predominantly former students, have opted to remain in that country, having integrated in the Ukrainian society over a number of years. 14 are still in Sumi. It is important to note that movement around this city has been curtailed. In this regard, the Zambian embassy, together with the SADC group in Moscow, is actively engaging the Russian government to create a safe passage for our students in Sumi.
The Ministry of Community Development and Social Services says there is need to convene an indaba on the status of street kids in Zambia. Speaking when engaging leaders from Chwafwane Child Protection and Rehabilitation Center, a non-governmental organization advocating to end streetism Monday, Community Development Officer Mr. Lakson Chipapa notes that the COVID-19 pandemic has worsened poverty levels in Zambia, hence leading to an increase in street children who cannot fend themselves from home. Meanwhile, Organization Secretary General Mr. Lavde Mwene notes that there is need to address problems such as alcoholism, as alcohol abuse has led to many families falling apart, hence driving children to the streets. Zipporah Mushala filed this report.
The Ministry of Community Development and Social Services reports that Zambia has an approximate number of 10,000 street children locally referred to as street kids, a number which is said to be growing since the onset of the coronavirus due to increased poverty levels in the country. According to research conducted by Chwafwane Child Protection and Rehabilitation, which is a non-governmental organization trying to address the plight of street kids, the mushrooming of drinking places in communities has contributed to alcohol abuse, as well as other vices that come along with it, such as gender-based violence, hence leading to children running away from their homes. Speaking during a meeting with representatives from the Ministry of Community Development and Social Services Monday, Organization Secretary General Mr. Lavde Mwene asked that there is need to address other problems that come with streetism, such as HIV/AIDS and early marriages.
Ladies and gentlemen, it was also discovered that these families are the same men that abandons their families at the end of it all for another woman somewhere there. Now, men are not involved in the upbringing of the child. That means there's a lot that has to be done, because only women are considered people that have to look after the child. So we found that to be a challenge that is contributing also to the issue of why the child is not well taken of. It is sad to note here that most of the women we spoke to during the research, which took about 5 months, that they consider themselves that they are already widows, when actually their husbands are somewhere outside with another woman. So instead they prefer to register themselves that they are already widows. Then another thing that was discovered is that there is a high rate of divorce. It was discovered that actually in these 3 areas under study, 11,000 marriages ends every year. Now, the big question that we have to look at is that if such divorces are happening in our areas, who is going to suffer? Is the child.
In adding the voice of the ministry, Community Development Officer Mr. Lakson Chipapa says with the increase in street kids comes an increase in crime, hence necessitating a national indaba to address the problem.
We have decided to go for an indaba, what we are calling the National Symposium on Street Children. I think very soon the minister will be talking about it in the media, just to inform the public what the government intends to do. Because what we have realized that the problem is growing big. We have a number of players that have come on board who want to help out. but we are not coordinated. We want what you are doing here in Lusaka. We get some good practices from here, which we can share with our colleagues maybe in Kawe, in Kitwe, Chibola, everywhere. So this national symposium, it will be for 3 days, and it will bring organizations countrywide that are trying to do something to resolve the problem of autism. And the Minister of Community Development and Social Services will officiate at this function. And we are going to have a number of presentations that are going to be made. Recent research findings, we have had a number of research findings that have been done and that have been research that have been conducted. So we want to take this opportunity to allow those that have done this research to share their findings. And we also want to take this opportunity to share with you the government position. What position we are taking as government? What policy direction are we going to take as government?
The stakeholders have called for collaborated efforts from all concerned parties if the desired results are to be achieved. Zipporah Mshala, Camnet News, Lusaka.
Vice President Mutalenga Lumango says Western Province needs urgent transformation. This and more after the break.
You know I can take her a bit.
Yes, my dear.
I was thinking of getting you a Bugatti on your birthday.
Really?
I'm quiet. My name is Yana.
Don't worry, my dear. That's why there is insurance.
Insurance?
You heard me.
Not just any kind of insurance, but Savenda General Insurance, a company that offers superior customer service, highly professional and dedicated staff. We are not just any insurance company, but an insurance company that actually pays our claims. We cover, among others, fire, marine, aviation, engineering, agriculture, motor vehicle, and miscellaneous insurance. So, live life to the full, knowing that Savenda General Insurance has got you covered. Savenda General Insurance. Insurance excellence.
Your skin is the biggest muscle in your body. That's why we make sure that Oracle is #1 when it comes to taking care of your precious skin. Oracle Pure Petroleum Jelly and Glycerin soothes, moisturizes and keeps your skin perfect. Oracle Pure Petroleum products for that perfect skin.
Team, the trajectory of the business looks very positive, and it looks like we'll be able to launch the machine. Has so much data.
Mom.
Yes, baby.
It says here, global warming and climate change is caused by the pollution from careless activities of human beings.
Wow!
Son, do you know I can turn my phone into a TV remote?
How's that possible?
It's so easy. Check this out.
Be smart, be fast with mega data from Zamtel. Get your 15 GB mobile data for only 100 kwacha, 30 GB mobile data for only 200 kwacha, and your 70 GB LTE data bundle with free Netflix, YouTube, Facebook, and WhatsApp. Visit our Facebook page, website, or service centers countrywide for more information. Zamtel, your digital lifestyle partner.
We still need more players, yes, because we need to balance the team. We need to have maybe on one position 3 or 4 players.
The third Camnet Stars football trial is on. This time, Camnet Stars are looking for young, talented and skilled soccer players between the age of 18 and 20 years old. Start your lucrative football career in Europe this July. If you know you are one of Zambia's best gifted soccer players, don't waste your time. On Sunday, the 13th March 2022, there will be trials for professional soccer stars. Venue, Kablonga Boys Secondary School grounds. Time, registration 13 hours. Kick-off 14 hours. 100 kwacha non-refundable shall be paid and your birth records must be produced upon registration. Camnet Stars, setting football standards for international market.
Welcome back. Thank you for staying on. Vice President Mutale Nalumango says Western Province requires urgent and rapid transformation in order to turn around the economic fortunes to support the development agenda envisaged by the new administration. Mrs. Nalumango notes that while all parts of the country require development, Western Province has not had transformative programs and investment at a scale that can make impact among the people. The Vice President stated that statistics over the years paint a picture of urgency in terms of attracting massive investment in key sectors based on the endowments in natural resources that await exploitation through local, national and international investment initiatives. Mrs. Nalumango was speaking when she officially launched the Western Province Investment Expo, which will be held from the 26th of September to 2nd October 2022 under the theme Rapid Economic Transformation through increased homegrown entrepreneurship, value addition and trade. And speaking earlier, Tourism Minister Rodney Sekumba stated that the expo is in line with government's agenda to promote private sector-led investment as it will attract meaningful investment in various sectors.
The long-awaited Western Province Tourism and Investment Expo has been launched Monday, setting the tone for the actual event slated for September 2022. Gracing the event, Vice President Mutale Nalumango has assured government's commitment to working hard at marketing tourism and trade in the Western Province given its potential. Mrs. Nalumango has cited a number of resources in the province which include water levels, fertile land and sunshine hours, which make the province an ideal area for investment.
Under the theme, Rapid Economic Transformation through increased homegrown entrepreneurship, value addition and trade, a very long one. The theme is indeed timely because Western Province requires urgent and rapid transformation in order to turn around the economic fortunes to support the developmental agenda envisaged by the New Dawn administration. The drive to promote trade, tourism and investments aligns very well with the desire to unlock the huge potential based on natural and human resource that is key to shaping a new and promising agenda for prosperity in Western Province.
She has acknowledged the need for proper road networks to give potential investors easy access.
When we say that Zambia has potential to become the breadbasket for Africa, Western Province is very strategic to this agenda. However, I am mindful that unlocking the economic potential of Western Province requires large-scale and sustainable investment in transport infrastructure, which in turn become part of a catalyst for positioning Zambia as a transport, trade, logistics, and tourism hub in Southern Africa.
The expo was coupled with pledges made by various stakeholders.
That will also be a sponsor for the Western Province Trade Investment Expo, Trade Tourism and Investment Expo. The owner will want to be the biggest sponsor.
Half of my engaged want to pledge 50,000 items.
So the spirit of Africanity and getting things done, we commit that we'll be one of the leading sponsors of this event.
Meanwhile, representing the Barroso Royal Establishment, Hon Gambela has thanked government and stakeholders for the anticipated development in the province.
Your Honor, like I have earlier on mentioned, Barroso Royal Establishment would like to assure the government, through you, Your Honor, that we will be very active, very active participants in the process of developing our province.
The September Expo will cost over 9 million kwacha, as reviewed by organizing committee. Alex Shimba, Camnet News in Lusaka.
In other news, Sofo Chifiembe, a farmer from Chiwombo District, Central Province, says farmers lack adequate resources and equipment to engage into drip irrigation farming. In an interview with Camnet News, Chifiembe discloses that farmers are willing to take this route but lack tools. Meanwhile, Minister in charge of Agriculture, Ruben Piri, says government plans to invest in dam construction and utilize the water resources in the country in order to strengthen drip irrigation. Details in this report.
With many people diving into the agriculture sector in Zambia today, more attention has been given to various agricultural practices that generally aid agriculture. One of the common processes that have gained even more ground today is drip irrigation. Irrigation is a very efficient process that allows water and nutrients flow directly into plant's root zone. This allows the plant to get the exact amount of water and nutrient they require for proper growth. However, a farmer from Chiwombo District in Central Province says farmers in Zambia lack adequate resources and equipment to engage into drip irrigation.
Most of the farmers are really willing to participate in drip irrigation, but the only challenge is that the finances, where to get all the equipment needed for you to have that drip irrigation.
She explained to this reporter that government needs to invest in drip irrigation.
And mostly drip irrigation, we use it in gardening. When we're doing our gardening, that's off season. When we start planting different vegetables, that's where we need drip irrigation. But we are able to have that because we have got limited resources and limited capital. But most of the farmers are willing to go that direction.
Meanwhile, Minister in charge of Agriculture, Ruben Piri, says government plans on investing in dam construction and the utilization of water resources in the country in order to strengthen drip irrigation.
And when they come, they are coming very heavy. There are floods in the southern province. Most of the parts of the country, the crop has been washed away. So our way to go is to be climate smart, and irrigation is the way to go. So our emphasis, you've come to the office so many times, you know our emphasis, dams and irrigation. So drip irrigation and other forms of irrigation. You know, drip irrigation is just one of the many irrigation types. So irrigation, per se, is what we are looking at, and that's what we're going to emphasize.
Zambia is investing in irrigation systems as a way to improve crop yields in the face of prolonged droughts and increasingly severe floods. Blessings Chakwila, Camnet News, Lusaka.
The Information and Communications University ICU has unveiled an application to combat the escalating cyber-related crimes in Zambia and beyond. It is estimated that companies globally could incur $5.2 billion United States dollars in additional cost and lost revenue over the next 5 years due to cyber attacks, as dependency on complex internet-enabled business models outspaces the ability to introduce adequate safeguards and protect criminal assets, according to a new report from Accenture. The ICU in the School of Engineering, Dean Oliver Silombe, said the application will enable users to be protected from online fraudulent activities. The professor has underscored the need to complement government's effort in combating cyber crimes. He was speaking during the ICU cybersecurity exhibition in Lusaka, dubbed Innovation in the Zambian Cyberspace.
In the year 2021, the government enacted 3 cyber regulations, which include the Cybersecurity and Cybercrimes Act No. 2 of 2021 and the Data Protection Act No. 3 of 2021 and the Electronic Communication Transaction Act No. 4 of 2021 to counter computer-related fraud and unwanted activities. However, not much has been achieved, and to complement the government in securing online platforms from hackers, the Information Communication University, ICU, has unveiled an application that helps to secure websites from fraudulent activities. ICU Dean in the School of Engineering, Oliver Silumbe, said the application enables users to be protected from hackers.
You need a TV. This doesn't need a big screen or what. It's something that you move with. It's an Android-based app that will secure you from some of these major vices that we are talking about, be it cyberbullying, be it phone theft, okay, be it mobile money theft. You know, nowadays you just receive a message, no, deposit 2 kwacha in my mobile line, the word will be this, or someone will just call you, I'm calling from a named.
And Vice Chancellor Professor John Mupula said the academia was prompted to devise the anti-cybercrime app to be in tune with global technology.
Cybersecurity and cyber risk are posing significant risk to people, businesses, and the financial institution in particular. The digital transformation of how we work, live, and do business has created huge opportunities for innovation and efficiency. However, our increased dependency on digital technologies also carries information security and privacy risks. Cyber attacks against financial institutions have increased in frequency.
Will the app complement the fight against cybercrimes? For now, we can only wait and see. Patrick Soko, Camnet News in Lusaka.
Zambia has continued to record cases of COVID-19 across the country, with many experiencing mild to moderate symptoms and recovering without specific treatment. Health Minister Silva Masewa has observed that in some situations, some people become seriously ill and require medical attention while others not. She says the records show that up to an average of 90% of the persons admitted due to COVID-19 are unvaccinated against the disease. In the last 24 hours, 43 new COVID-19 cases were recorded out of 1,627 tests conducted countrywide, giving an overall national positivity of 3%. The minister added that of the current active cases, 30 patients representing 2% positivity are admitted to hospital, with 12 patients being on oxygen therapy, while 1 is classified as critically ill. Meanwhile, Mrs. Masewa regretted that the proportion of unvaccinated patients among the admissions remain high at 93% of current admissions. The minister further reminded the public to get booster shots and to have children of 12 years and above get vaccinated. You're watching Camnet News. We take our second set of commercials. When we return, we look at sports and international news. Stay with us.
We welcome you to the wonderful world of Savenda Electronics.
At Savenda Electronics, we pride ourselves in manufacturing high-quality electricity and water meters.
Boasting of the first of its kind state-of-the-art manufacturing plant in Zambia, Savenda Electronics manufactures customized smart electricity and water meters of international standards for both the local and international water and electricity utility companies. Our highly computerized factory, run by qualified staff, makes, calibrates, and electronically tests the smart meters to ensure only those meeting customer specifications are delivered to the market. Some of the main features which come with our meters includes notifications about low units, tempering, low battery, and many more customized features. Savenda Electronics provides on and off-site after-sales service and has favorable contract terms for water and electricity utility companies. Savenda Electronics, the real deal. Do you have an extra car? Then make yourself extra money. We would like to put that car, yes, that car parked there, to good use to make you extra money on the side just through its service while keeping it safe and secure. Call 0765 02 3883 to register your vehicle with us today. Delpo Services. Service beyond satisfaction.
We still need more players, yes, because we need to balance the team. We need to have maybe on one position 3 or 4 players.
The third Camnet Stars football trial is on. This time, Camnet Stars are looking for young, talented and skilled soccer players between the age of 18 and 20 years old. Start your lucrative football career in Europe this July. If you know you are one of Zambia's best gifted soccer players, don't waste your time. On Sunday, the 13th March 2022, there will be trials for professional soccer stars. Venue, Kablonga Boys Secondary School grounds. Time, registration 13 hours. Kick-off 14 hours. 100 kwacha non-refundable shall be paid, and your birth records must be produced upon registration. Camnet Stars, setting football standards for international market.
Welcome back. Thank you for staying on. In international news, the scene has become all too common during Ethiopia's drowned-out war. Thousands of Eritrean refugees, shell-shocked and separated from loved ones, fleeing on foot through harsh terrain to escape artillery and gunfire. It played out again this month after the Barrier refugee camp in the northwestern Afar region sustained what survivors described as a brazen assault by rebels from neighboring Tigray. At least 5 people were killed and an untold number of women kidnapped. Here's a roundup of international stories.
These grounds, belonging to a hotel in Semera, the capital of Ethiopia's Afar region, are where these Eritrean refugees have sought shelter. The Bahrali refugee camp in which they had lived for years was attacked at the beginning of February by Tigray rebels. The shelling killed 5 refugees. Jamila Hassan is a new mother. She says she's struggling to breastfeed her baby. I don't have family or money or anything in my hands. I just have this small child and I'm caring for him. I am a lactating mother sitting here and my child is an infant. But there is no sanitation, no hygiene. We're suffering from the shortage of water and food. We're just praying to God. Rights organizations say Eritrean refugees have been targeted by Tigray and Eritrea's armed forces during the war. For 3 days we had no food or water. But because of fear, we weren't thinking about that at all. The UN has delivered food assistance to the refugees. The Ethiopian government has said it plans to move them to a temporary site some 40 kilometers northeast of Semera. Rights organizations have documented mass rape, killings and other atrocities against the refugees. The Afar forces allied with Ethiopia's federal army to drive invading Tigray rebels back in December.
We are students! We are students! We are students! We are students!
These are the black communities. We are not allowing any black people to enter inside the gates. We are all here.
There's been a lot of segregation and racism from the people who've managed to actually get to the passport control. It seems like there's a hierarchy of Ukrainians first, Indians second, Africans last. So there has been a lot of segregation.
यहाँ कैसे मार रहे लड़कियों को
українські герої. П'ята доба повномасштабна.
The words of a man who refuses to back down.
Стоїмо міцно.
The fifth day of the full-scale war of Russia against the people of Ukraine. We stand strong. We lived through that much over these days, what other people wouldn't experience in decades.
Some diplomacy is taking place between Russia and Ukraine. A delegation met on the Belarus border. It's unknown what was talked about, but it came as the EU Parliament held a special session about the Russian invasion of Ukraine.
This €500 million will be devoted to provide defensive arms, but high-caliber arms, anti-tanks, all kinds of equipment in order to repel the aggression.
Tanks roll into Kharkiv. Missiles are seen on the roads as fighter jets fly overhead. Residents film the damage east of Kharkiv, near the Russian border. In eastern Ukraine, fuel tanks burn, and the scene is repeated in northern Ukraine, and will be over the coming days as both sides fight on. Imran Khan, Al Jazeera.
And we take you back. But that's it for international news. We go straight into sports news. Zambia Sports Fan Association patron Peter Makembo says Chipolopolo should come out of their comfort zone and start bringing good results to the football fraternity. In an interview with Camnet News, Makembo says the Chipolopolo qualification to the AFCON should be a wake-up call to the men's football team. Makembo is confident that the Chipolopolo will qualify to the World Cup and bring the title to Zambia. Makembo has since challenged the senior national team to work hard and learn from the women's national team.
See how best we can give up support for our girls. Much more kudos to them because men, they are sleeping. So it's a waking up call for the men to say, look at what the girls have done. Where is your problem? Tell us, guide it. We'll see where you're having a problem, you men. The girls are paving the way. Then you're still locked up. So that is a signal to say, boys, pull up your socks. We want to be where we are. Those foreign heroes, they were on their way to qualify for the World Cup. So the girls now, they are already stepping there. They need your push. Your push will make us to be more where we are supposed to be. So I don't see any problem at all. Let's put our heads together. Government funds, corporate funds, we're inseparable. We float in one area.
Well, that's where we leave it for our news this evening. The headlines once again. Fuel prices to continue escalating due to global tension. Government challenge to maintain roads in prone accident areas. Government to evacuate all registered Zambians from Ukraine by Friday, 4th March 2022. In international news, unprecedented attacks HOUND Eritrean refugees in Ethiopia. And in sports news, CHIPOLOPOLO challenge to pull their socks. We now look at the Camnet verse of the day, and it's coming from Isaiah 55, verse 6 to 7, and it reads, Seek the Lord while he may be found, call to him while he is near. Let the wicked one abandon his way, and the sinful one his thoughts. Let him return to the Lord, so he may have compassion on him and to our God, for he will freely forgive. Well, thank you so much for choosing Camnet TV. My name is Sharon Kalimbula. Good night.